Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
And here's Jay, and Jay are the host of this, so I do agree with what's about to be said. But welcome to the Educated Retirement Radio here on KMET 1490 AM, where we do contemplate retirement, how to best prepare for that retirement, and how to best stay successfully retired. So remember to give me a call, or this is fine, or look me up on the internet. Dr. Heckham, that's HECM, and that stands for Home Equity Conversion Loan. drheckham.com, or just email me at bestloantoday@gmail.com, or that phone. Oh, I was talking about one and you were giving me the other one. Oh, well, take advantage and enjoy. This is the one that says, and call me at 866-955-2233, 866-955-2233. And we'll answer any of your questions. There's no obligation whatsoever, okay? And why do you want to do that? You want to because the future is now. It was said in the Hudsucker Proxy, remember? So knowledge is power, and as one of our great guests said about 3 weeks ago, it's only the knowledge that you use that's going to matter here. Applied knowledge is power. So jump on over to that website, take a look. I'm still working, and I do have to apologize, I'm still working on updating the videos, after the hospital and that, but I'll be caught up real soon, and I'll be caught up 100% with everything else. My day job is at the Loan Source, and the NMLS number, which is for the licensing for doing loans, let me repeat it, 384-565, Department of Real Estate is 792-630. And what is today, other than the day we're sharing on I need to show this because it's National Chocolate Mint Day. And I remember I was on Ron Siegel's show yesterday, and we talked about that. He brought up the fact that it was National Mint Day. But new mint chocolate, new mint dark chocolate Kit Kat. And Kit Kat is huge in Japan. I'm not sure exactly where they come from, this, that, whatever, but there are at least 45 different flavors. Excuse me, here's to you. Sorry, but you gotta admit it sounds good, right? No, this is National Caregivers Day. And this day is set aside to honor caregivers across the country, providing support to those who need it the most. And it's also National Bird Feeding. Although all you can see is me feeding right now, but in a way it's kind of similar to the caregiving, because this is the time of year that it's figured that birds have the hardest time finding their own food, seeds, and that kind of thing. So here we believe in challenging the status quo. People and families need to be active, not reactive. I'm going to be active with a cup of coffee right now. And we're going to get into some people's birthdays. Thank you. Jeff Daniels was born on this day in 1955. American actor, musician, and a playwright. He was brought up in Chelsea, Michigan, where his father was actually mayor, and attended Eastern Michigan University Drama School, performing in several repertory plays. After moving to New York, he performed in the second performed in, oh, I see, in several productions at the Second Stage Theater, not to be confused with Second City, that would be Chicago. Now, movies, the first time his film debut was in a film I really loved. I remember loving the book too. Before that, Ragtime by, what's his name? Daryl. Well, anyway, that was Jeff's film debut. And the director of Ragtime was Milos Forman, who also did One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, Amadeus, both having won him Academy Awards for Best Director. And he also did Hair. So pretty talented director in a lot of different directions. As far as our birthday boy, he was in I'm trying to see which one was the first. I can't find that offhand. Terms of Endearment won an Oscar for Best Picture. He was in there. He was in, anyway, I'm sorry I couldn't find the first one. Purple Rose of Cairo with Woody Allen, which is, of course, a Woody Allen film. And he was also in Radio Days. So he did two films with Woody Allen, Radio Days and Purple Rose of Cairo. Radio Days, I think I've shown you this before. And Radio Days, of course, is one of our two most favorite New Year's, especially New Year's Eve, movies to watch. And what's the other one? That's right, The Future Is Now, Hudsucker Proxy. He was in Speed, which I don't think we can forget. But it was fun, I thought. And here's another one I don't have listed here, but Good Night and Good Luck was the story of Edward R. Murrow. I thought a really, really good film. And George Clooney was directed it. He was also in it. Robert Downey Jr., Frank Langella, David Strathairn, goes on and on. And then there's the big one, Arachnophobia. Got a few versions of this. Oh, I got to try to show it to you anyway. Picture of John Goodman as the exterminator on the back. And remember, what was it, last week or so, we talked about the Naked Lunch and how these druggies from the 1950s would get their highs because they would become exterminators and be able to sniff their own stuff. But Arachnophobia was Frank Marshall's first directing job. He was a producer just before that. And the star of the movie Arachnophobia was a critter by the name of Big Bob. Big Bob was rented from Reptile Rental in Los Angeles and named after Robert Zemeckis. It was actually a Brazilian bird-eating tarantula who needed his beauty naps. So the crew would have to wake him up in advance. Marshall would then say, as soon as the spider is set, we roll. So, they showed a lot of these squished spiders, and especially John Goodman with the huge shoe he had. All of those shoes had cutouts in the soles so that no spider was splattered during the filming of Arachnophobia, which, by the way, was filmed in Cambria, which is up not too well. It's on Highway 1, the other side of San Luis. San Luis Obispo and Morro Bay and that kind of thing. Beautiful place. And just a quick reminder then that with Big Bob, that you're listening to KMET 1490 AM radio, and this is the Educated Retirement Radio. Here at KMET, give me a call, 866-955-5555. 2233. Once again, that's like no obligation whatsoever. 866 9555 2233. Now, who else had a birthday on this day? It would be Lee Marvin, the tough guy actor of over 40 films and literally 40 tons of television. You know, I think of him more as a movie personality, but I guess he was in so much more television than I can possibly remember. But he joined us on Earth in 1924, and he flew off the planet in 1924, and left us in 1987. So, Mr. Tough Guy. He got into, this is a very good story here, he got into the action, the Hollywood action, literally from the bottom up. Because after he came back from the Marines, he was working as a plumber's assistant at a local community theater and was asked to stand in for an actor who had fallen ill. So from then on, he started making as much as $7 a week. And his film debut was in a film called You're in the Navy Now, which also introduced us to Charles Bronson, another tough guy actor. So here we've got two tough guy actors making their debut together in a comedy. One thing, though, that I did find very interesting is that Lee Marvin was actually offered the role of Quint in Jaws, and he declined it. That, you know, to me, Shaw is Quint. I mean, he should have won an Academy Award for that, and probably for one or two others also. But I can't imagine Quint being anybody else. But if you stop and think and look at that face of Lee Marvin, you know what? You never know. Sean, are you there? Can you think of Lee Marvin as Quint? Anyway,
I don't think I've seen that one.
Jaws, but he declined the role of Quint because he did not want to be embarrassed in front of his fishing buddies. Wow. Look at that face anyway. Looks like a fish. No, but kind of it reminds me, remember we talked about Jim Jarmusch a couple of weeks ago and the club that they all belonged to? It was called the Sons of Lee Marvin, and you had to kind of look. Jim Jarmusch, director. And we did a pretty good story about him in Stranger Than Paradise. But he was in the Dirty Dozen, Lee Marvin was. Paint Your Wagon, and in Paint Your Wagon, he sang all of his own songs in the film. And I remember when that was going on, and everybody was talking about that. So the film itself was not a box office success, but the soundtrack was. Everybody wanted to hear Lee, Marvin singing. So he was in Cat Ballou, won an Academy Award for Best Actor in Cat Ballou. The Wild One with Marlon Brando. The Big Heat with Glenn Ford. And then there is The Killers. And then I'll show some more. Now, The Killers has a pretty good story to it. Okay? I don't know if you can tell either way, but I'll take that apart. It was an interesting story unto itself. There was a theatrical version to be let out in the movies, and it did not have Lee Marvin in it. It was, let me get these booklets out here. There's a little thingy on it there. It was taken from an Ernest Hemingway story and directed by Robert Siodmak and became a classic noir film. It did very, very well and starred Ava Gardner along with uh, Burt Lancaster. So that's kind of it. We can see that in dark covers. However, it proved so popular that a television version was planned and actually made. And along with Lee Marvin, there was Angie Dickinson, and it was directed by Don Siegel. I don't know how easy or hard it is to see with these colors, but the Don Siegel version, and you'd probably know Don Siegel from one of the 2 or 3 best films ever made, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And of course, he did all the Dirty Harry stuff, things like that. But Don Siegel directed this as if it were a regular large screen film. And it kind of represents, in a way, a new movement into television violence and to look how things were really starting to change. So in the end, it was decided that there was too much violence for the small screen, and it was instead released on the large screen. So you've got 2 different The Killers on large screen, and both very, very different. If you can imagine Lee Marvin and Burt Lancaster, they are a bit different. So again, a great look at film noir. And I was reminded today, looking at some literature, that if you're looking for neo-noir, Old Boy is the one. We're not going to talk about the movie Old Boy right here, but we sure would love to get into it one day. Highly recommended. Let me throw some more things out. Lee Marvin, right? Remember, we used to watch this all the time. But here's some other movies and things he was in. Jack Webb's Pete Kelly's Blues, and I love this album and the music. I love that, the one song, Pete Kelly's Blues, but forgot off, I think it was Ray Hentoff may have written that. And of course, he had his own television series called M Squad, and there's a soundtrack from M Squad. Take a look at that hard-nosed Lee. And he also did... No, he didn't. We're coming up. Anyway, John Frankenheimer was born on this day in 1930, and he left us in 2002. Director of over 30 films and 50 television plays, and he grew up in New York City, going to the movies every weekend, like myself. And at first he was interested in an acting career, but soon switched over due to the love of directing. His directing debut was for television, directing, get this, more than 140 episodes of Playhouse 90 and Danger. Included in that was a play called The Comedian, written by Rod Serling, whose name's come up quite a bit here lately too. So his move to the cinema started with The Young Savages and continued with The Manchurian Candidate. That would be the first, the Frank Sinatra one, which was nominated for a couple of Oscars. And I think that, was it Les Lancaster, what's her name? Won for Best Supporting Actor. We'd have to look that up for a second. I'm just driving. I got to tell you the truth out there. And I believe that she played the mother of the Manchurian Candidate.
Lansbury, yeah.
What's Kat?
Angela
Lansbury.
Yeah.
And I think she was only 2 years older than him at the time that they played that. So in any case, 7 Days in May, Birdman of Alcatraz.
It's also Rod Serling.
There. And then I wanted to bring this one up, Seconds. It's like a science fiction kind of thing for Frankenheimer, which I really enjoy it, but take a look at it. The Train. That's it, again, video disc thing. And again with Burt Lancaster. And he also directed such things as Well, I'm sure, the name goes on and on. Very, very serious. Seemed to me when I was a kid, I remember that's the guy, if you really want to see something, look for a Frankenheimer film. We've got some honorable mentions also for today. Millie Bobby Brown was born in 2004. Stranger Things, of course, which has become so popular, and one of my two favorite things on Netflix. And this one, Stranger Things, is still continuing forward. The other one I really liked, was called Dark, and it's over now. So I don't want to open this and have all these cards fall out, because some of these have, you see, let me trade you, because all of that was going to fall out. All these collector items. Anyway, Stranger Things, 2 records set from season 1. And this one was chock full of all these collector cards and other things like that. Here's season 2. And let's see what the vinyl looks like, just to see. I forgot whether they... Yeah. See that? Pretty cool, huh? And it sounds good. So these are
was released on this day.
So on this day, there were some film, or close to this day, there were some famous films released. This one, for instance, February 20th, 1963. And I'm supposed to wear my Cinerama hat. But I actually saw 2001 at the original Cinerama, not the Cinerama Dome. It was the Warner, I believe, on Hollywood Boulevard. And then we were lucky enough to see all of the Lord of the Rings in the same theater. Just to show you a few other things that have to do with Cinerama. And I've got some booklets behind us too. And we also have some other souvenirs.
Oh, so down.
Circus World, big time, then there's the one that goes through Pakistan and Kashmir and all the Himalayas. But lots of fun, I think. Also, on February 16th, 1968, Quatermass and the Pit was. It's getting late, and Sean's going to want to take a break in a minute, so I want to, I think one of the best of the Quatermass films, if not the best. And we had mentioned Body Snatchers earlier, but it was also released on February 5th. This is a great Criterion copy with an audio commentary you just can't get anymore. But I'm listening for NASA Nellie's Rocket. I don't hear it.
Oh.
All right, she just got back, this time not from the International Space Station, but from Mars. It's going to give us a update on what's going on that planet. Take it away, NASA Nellie.
The planet Mars does rock, but is getting just a little crowded. Here is a quick update on what has been going on. To begin with, India sent its craft to Mars, which was called Mangalyaan. It was planned to last just 6 months on the planet's orbit, but it has gone way beyond that. Since September of 2014, it has captured over 980 images and is still in good health and continues to work normally. The United Arab Emirates sent their orbiter called the Hope to the planet and reached its orbit on February 9th. This craft was built in the U.S. by the University of Colorado and was launched from Japan. It will continue to snap stunning photographs and study the Martian atmosphere and weather for at least 2 years. It is not scheduled to land on the surface, just to continue to orbit the planet. China also sent their orbiter craft called Tiyuan, meaning Questions to Heaven and entered the Martian orbit the very next day on February 10th. It is one of the heaviest probes ever launched into the planet. Questions to Heaven will smoothly land on the surface in May and explore for at least 90 Martian days. And now, NASA's newest addition to accompany their 4 remaining Mars rovers, introducing the Perseverance rover, which landed successfully yesterday and will be traveling the red surface. It will look for signs of past microbial life and will collect rock and soil samples for possible return to Earth. Accompanying the rover is a helicopter named Ingenuity, which will be making test flights over the red surface. Also attached are 2 microphones that will enable us to actually hear the sounds of the rover and sounds of Mars. This mission is part of a larger program called the Artemis Lunar Exploration Program that includes missions back to the moon. Planned for 2024 is the landing of the first woman and next man on its surface as a way to prepare for human exploration of the red planet. They will use what they learn on and around the moon to take the next giant leap, sending astronauts to Mars.
All right, let's hear you take off. And then with that, we're going to have to take off too and come back in just a minute or two with some great guests on healthcare and what we need to actually do, not just look forward to. So take it away, Sean, and thanks very, very much.